What's up, guys? WTF Joe here. Wanted to stop by and tell you guys about a specific rifle before I hit the sack for the night. Wanted to go ahead and get this out of the way because, as luck would have it, I'm actually getting rid of this rifle tomorrow morning. So yeah, let's talk about it. It is a Savage Model 10 fcp-sr. That's what the rifle is. Now let's talk about what that means. So if you're going to be getting into long-range shooting, and long-range being, maybe out to, we'll just say up to 1,500 yards, okay? This is a rifle chambered in 308 Winchester. So, with the right conditions, and then fill in the blanks with just that. With the right conditions, with the right ammo, with the right trigger discipline, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you could effectively shoot a 308 cartridge out to 1,500 yards. I myself have only had the opportunity to do that a few times. Of course, when I was on that range, or when I do get the opportunity to visit the range where that's possible for me, I typically do pretty minimal shooting with the 308, and I like to toy around with a lot of other cartridges while I'm there. It's definitely satisfying to shoot beyond 1,000 yards, beyond 1,500 yards even. Of course, where I go from time to time, you do have the potential to shoot out to a mile. The guy has steel out to a mile. Very wonderful setup. I aim to find more farms around me where we can do that at. But listen, that's not what this video is about. You guys know I definitely get to talking. I talk far too much, and this is a subject I could go on and on about. So let's try to get through this painlessly here, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. So Savage Model 10 fcp-sr. SR is going to stand for suppressor ready, meaning that this barrel comes pre-threaded from Savage. It's going to come with a thread protector installed. As you can see, you've got a little thread tape under there just to keep that in place while being, or while not in use, while the threads aren't in use. It's going to come with a heavy fluted barrel. They flute the barrel all the way around to shave a little weight off the gun. Any weight you can get off of one of these long guns is definitely a blessing. Bear with me, I'm going to lay you down for a second. Voila. Moving on back. So, threaded, heavy fluted barrel. It's also a free floated barrel. It's going to come in a pretty average Savage stock. It's not the greatest stock, but it is free floated. You can do the old dollar bill test where you lay a dollar bill under your barrel, slide it on back in between the barrel and the stock, and you will find that it is a free floated barrel, and your dollar bill will travel all the way back to the chamber there. So pretty cool. For the money, it's definitely a great option. Let's talk about some more reasons why. So as you seen, I titled this, budget sniper rifle, best budget sniper rifle, something along those lines. Not exactly sure what I'm titling this yet. Anyways, in the world of long-range shooting or precision shooting, something you will run into as you go farther out on the range is obviously the farther you go from your zero. Say you're zeroed at 100 yards. You've only got so much elevation available. You're going to have so many. You're going to be able to bring your elevation turret up so many clicks, meaning you're going to get your reticle to aim up so many clicks to compensate for that arc and fall of the bullet. And at a certain point, it's going to stop traveling up. One thing that long-range shooters do to give them the ability to travel even further up, or at least make better use of the elevation turret in their scope, is they install a scope base with a higher rise. This is a factory scope base from Savage. I believe it is a 20 MOA base, so that means if this rifle or if this scope was mounted directly, you know, above the bore of the rifle, it would be mounted 20 minutes lower than it currently is. So with this, you have 20 minutes of elevation available without adjusting, you know, without adjusting from your zero. So something you can do is take this scope base off, and you can buy one that is taller, that's thicker. You know, I know they make 30-minute risers. Heck, I've seen them clear up to like an inch tall. I'm sure there's even higher ones out there, especially if you get into like ELR and stuff like that, the extreme long range. I mean, there's guys shooting rifles out to 2 miles these days. You guys can probably dig through some of my playlists and find the King of 2 Miles playlist that I have saved on my channel. And if not, search YouTube for King of 2 Miles and you guys will see some ridiculous stuff. Of course, you won't see anyone doing that with a .308 caliber rifle, but they've got some really amazing stuff, sweet, crazy gear, stuff I've never seen and probably will never. Anyways, yes, again, you have a 20 MOA base, and you also get a detachable box magazine. It's not going to be a standard style magazine that you're going to be able to, you know, take off of an AR and pop up in there, but this is a 10-round box mag from Savage. Has the little chief on the bottom of it there. Pretty cool. But again, it's a 10-round box mag. Just one more thing that gives me fits. One more thing that makes this a you know, a tactical rifle or a sniper rifle, right? So you know, there's a few things that separate, you know, regular bolt rifles from what people would consider them a sniper rifle. But a sniper rifle, I guess, technically is a rifle that lends itself to shooting far or shooting accurately in the most effective or most efficient manner. So, you know, some of the things that are added to rifles in order to do that are the ability to add a muzzle device, the ability to carry more ammunition. Maybe you can, you know, and you can do that by having more magazines on hand. Another thing they give you is a oversized bolt knob, which just makes it easier for the shooter when that's why that mag was giving me fits. I had the bedspread caught in it. So yeah, you've got a oversized bolt knob, and the reason that's helpful is because when you come off of a shot, you can simply you know, fan your grip, and then you know, fan your fingers, lift it up, allows you to bring it back, and allows you to maintain a real good contact on that bolt, you know, without coming off of your scope and manipulating that bolt in a way that would you know, get in the way of your shots. Of course, you want to maintain target acquisition by keeping your eye down that scope, seeing your target through your shot, seeing your shot's impact, you know, following that up with another good accurate shot. And you know, it's those types of things, having ammunition available for the next shot, you know, without having to hand load rounds in, having an oversized bolt knob so that you can maintain a good contact on that bolt without having to take your eye off the scope and fish for it. Things like that, they just help. It doesn't come with a bipod, but it does come with 2 swivel studs under there. You could utilize one of those for a bipod, maybe one of those for a sling. You will find in the back of the stock the second swivel stud back there if maybe you were going to sling this rifle. Better be a good sling because this thing's got some weight to it. So yeah, the rifle, depending on where you were to pick it up, doesn't typically, I don't think, come with an optic. However, if you're looking for an optic and you want a good option, a pretty budget friendly option that's really quite a nice optic. This is a fixed 10 power SFW or SWFA SS. It's their fixed 10 power super sniper is what they call it. It is a fixed 10 power with a 42 millimeter objective lens, so a 10 by 42. And you'll see that a lot. You'll see guys shooting scopes that are a 1 magnification scope, and it's typically a fixed 10 magnification on their scope. Beyond that, you know, a lot of guys is you know, their dope and their math that they do for their scopes. It kind of universally applies at 10 magnification. So you'll see that a lot. 10 powers typically more than enough with a 10 or with a 308 to see, you know, anything you need to see with a 308. Just about as far as you're going to be able to shoot one anyways. Yep, moving on back. Of course, you do get Savage's adjustable trigger. I forget what this is called. I know it's not a... I don't think it's the 40X. I can't remember. I used to be a Remington 700 fan, so don't quote me on that. I think it might be a 40X trigger. I'm totally not certain on that, guys. Yeah, I'm sure you could look it up very easily and figure that out. And then you do have a safety on the tang of the rifle there, so you can manipulate that real easy when you're, you know, coming off of a shot. You know, very, very simple to just reach up with your thumb and apply that safety and come off the rifle and do what you need to do. And then when you get back down on it, you can manipulate that without having to, you know, take your eye off the target or your reticle or whatever it is you're doing. Yeah, that's about it. That's the Savage 10 fcp-sr. Great little rifles. I've shot one for a long time. Again, I used to be a Remington 700 fan. I ended up buying a Remington 700 AAC SD, which was their take on a kind of I guess kind of like this. It was kind of like a budget sniper rifle deal. I bought the 18-inch model. It came with an 18-inch threaded barrel. It was a 308 gun. It had a 1 in 10 twist on it. So, you know, it was supposed to get a wide array of bullets of different weights out the barrel and twisting fast pretty quickly to maintain stability and shoot really effectively without having to pack, you know, a 20 to a 24-inch barrel on a gun. So it came in a Hogue overmolded stock. The stock was cool. It was grippy. It was like entirely rubberized. It looked nice. It had like some webbing camo going on. I actually took that rifle out of that stock and put it in a Macmillan, an aluminum bedded stock. I had a really great scope ring, scope base setup on that rifle, and I could not get that rifle to shoot consistently at 100 yards. I couldn't put 2 rounds within 2 inches of each other on a paper plate at 100 yards, which is just unacceptable for a rifle in today's, by today's standards. So you typically expect a decent precision rifle, or any bolt rifle really, to shoot, you know, a minute at 100 yards. So, you know, at 100 yards, your shots should easily be within an inch of each other. If the rifle is a decent rifle, that's typically, you know, today's standard is a minute. And I mean, if you're honest with yourself, you'll know if you can even shoot, you know, a minute. You know, as far as your accuracy, if you can even maintain enough trigger discipline, and you know, if you just be honest with yourself, you know, whether or not that's something you can do. It takes a lot of time on the trigger. It takes a lot of time behind the gun to achieve, you know, being a you know, a one MOA shooter. There's days where, you know, I'm not, but most generally I am. I love my bolt guns. And if you get the right one, you know, shooting a minute's worth of, you know, accuracy isn't a real big challenge. And of course, you know, that applies, the 1 inch applies at 100 yards. So, you know, if you get a rifle and you take it out to zero it, and you want to put a 300 yard zero on it, and you're finding that rifle shoots, you know, 3 inch group at, you know, 300 yards, That's still a minute. You know, that's still a 1 minute rifle, right? It's still a 1 MOA group. If you're shooting in inch groups at 100 yards, then, you know, logic tells you you're going to shoot 2-inch groups at 200 yards, 3-inch groups at 300 yards, 4-inch at 400, and on out. So, you know, just because those groups open up a little bit, or open up, you know, the farther you go out doesn't mean you've got a bummed rifle. It just means you're shooting that rifle to its ability. So, you know, if you really want to know what your rifle can do and you really want to hone in on how accurate it is, start at 100 yards. Nothing to be ashamed about. You know, I shot a 22-250 and a 300 Win Mag when I first got into bolt guns. I had a 200-yard range at my disposal to do it with. I sat out there many a days and shot. You know, and if you know anything about a 22-250, it's arguably the fastest, you know, the fastest, flattest shooting round that you're going to get out of a bolt gun, at least as of about, you know, 6-7 years ago when I started. And, you know, at 100 yards, you should be dang near putting bullets in the same hole. And of course, the same can be said for 300 Win Mag. 100 yards is nothing. It's really asking the rifle to, you know, just go bang. So again, you know, there were days that I was really bored, but it's good to maintain, you know, those fundamentals and stay fresh on that trigger and really understand what your rifle can do and what you can do with it. Listen, and if that's all you've got is maybe 100-yard range at your disposal, or any range for that matter, and it's kind of discouraging you, you know, and you're like, hey, I've got this great bolt gun and, you know, I don't have anywhere to stretch its legs, I don't have anywhere to get out and shoot far, then you know, something I used to do is if you got a buddy with you, or maybe if you don't, just hey, grab a hold of your turrets, twist them up, move them all around, and then you know, practice the fundamentals. It's one of the funnest things to me is you know, getting a rifle zeroed, practicing that skill. You know, some people will zero their rifle and then you know, they'll never zero it again. You know, they might find one day that the rifle's not shooting where it was the last time they shot it, and you know, you might chalk it up to bad ammo or different ammo or what have you, and hey, maybe it is, but you never know. You know, your turrets could have got bumped. You know, things happen. But if you really enjoy it like I do, then you might find that twisting your turrets up and making use of that 100 yards and walking your shots back into zero to that, you know, half-inch group at 100 yards after you were just shooting 2 foot to the right and, you know, a foot high. You know, just practice. It's a good skill to have. So you never can know things like that too well, and you never can do them too quickly. So just something to think about, guys. But again, this is the Savage 10 fcp-sr. Great rifle. I don't know, depending on where you guys are, you guys may be able to find a better price on this than I did here in Ohio. I think generally you can get this rifle for the price of right around, geez, I should have looked it up before I did this video, but I think you can probably find these for high $500, mid $600. I think honestly this one was like $649, but I was happy to give it. I come off of a older Savage Model 10. It was a great rifle too. It was like a Savage 10 fcp-LE, which is their law enforcement model. It was a heavy-barreled Savage. It wasn't threaded. It wasn't fluted. It was in a really nice stock though. It was a like that's what it was. It was the HS Precision stock. So it was a heavier, more tactical style stock. Made for really comfortable shooting. It was a heavy thing, but boy, I loved it. That thing is a shooting rifle, a very well shooting rifle. So yeah, that's just one of the bolt guns that I wanted to tell you guys about. Didn't really plan on talking about it right now. I'd rather be laying behind it, taking shots with it before I told you guys about it. But nonetheless, that's it. I plan on talking plenty more to you guys about some bolt guns. Again, it's what I like. It's what I like to do. I like to shoot long range bolts, and This is one that I've done plenty of that with. However, it's going to find a new home tomorrow. As you can see, it's not too happy about it, I guess. Hopefully it treats the next guy as well it has me, though. But hey, I can't argue with it. That's a $299 scope, $650 rifle. I'm getting $900 out of it. I just happened to put an asking price of $900 up in hopes of getting right around $750, and guy got a hold of me and he was in love with it, and so he's getting it for that price. Wouldn't have minded working with him, but you know, if somebody wants to pay the price, you know, I've done it myself many a times. You see something you want and you can't find it anywhere else, and sometimes you just you do what you got to do to get what you want, and hey, part of life. So that's it, guys. That's the Savage 10 FCP SR, almost said LE. Savage Model 10 FCP SR. And if you have the chance to get one and it's the right price, I suggest you do. It'll treat you really nice. It has a really smooth, clean action, really great break and trigger for a factory trigger. And I don't have any bad things to say about it. I love my Savage products, definitely. Yeah, got some more of them I'll show you guys later on, but for now, that's it. So yeah, come give me a shout on Snapchat. If you want to see some old pictures that I haven't updated in a while, come see me on Instagram. My username for both of those is @WTFJoe. And as always, you guys chime in. Let me know what you guys think about this rifle or ones like it, or let me know what your favorite bolt gun is, or what your opinion on the best budget bolt gun is, the best budget sniper rifle. So yeah, stop, sorry, completely blanked out. Stop down in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I should change anything, and let me know if you have anything to add. Thank you guys for stopping by, and if you've made it this long, you're probably more of a man than I am, or woman. Either way, you guys have a great night.